Hello, friends. You're most welcome to this very important discussion. My name is Dr. Marco Achukwujide. This is in collaboration with my darling wife. We want to discuss with you a very important topic: challenges handling marriage proposal from a stranger. This is part one. Please subscribe to this so that you will get the subsequent parts. All right, I make bold to say that marriage is very, very sweet. Not just that marriage is sweet, marriage is enjoyable. The picture you are seeing was the day we started our sweet journey. This year, November 2024, we'll be marking our 15 years of a very pleasant experience in marriage. Yeah, there are fear everywhere. There are stories of terrible things in so many quarters. But look, I want to assure you that marriage is sweet. Forget the fact that people have bastardized it. We see experiences that make one to say, look, is this something that someone needs to consider? Look, don't be afraid. If you are well guided, you will get into an enjoyable marriage. I have some friends who are enjoying their marriage, and I bet you yours is going to be one of them if you're not yet married. If you're married, I do hope you're enjoying your marriage. So I want to take you through this series quickly, and we're going to do introduction here, and I beg you to make sure you watch out for other series so that you will not miss the gist here. It's ladies' gist. It's meant for those who are single. However, if you're married, the knowledge we are going to share here could help you guide somebody. So many ladies out there don't have people who will guide them. So many are confused because there's confusion everywhere. You hardly see marriage you can admire. Marriage you want to say, look, this is a model I want to have. Is there, but it's quite scarce. What we hear is a lot of terrible stories everywhere, and we see them happen. And so we want to guide you to make sure you don't get into that trouble, right? So, introduction. Now, we're talking about a stranger here. So, who is a stranger? A stranger is somebody who is not your acquaintance, somebody who have not known you for some time. You have grown up somewhere, and this guy has grown up somewhere, and suddenly he shows up to you and said, will you marry me? Now, it's possible somebody recommended you to him. It's possible he just met you somewhere and fell in love and decided to take that step. So that person is the person we regard as a stranger. That stranger, you see the picture we have here, is a young man that is masked. Now, behind this mask could be a very beautiful heart, could be a very good young man, could be a guy with a golden heart, but you don't know. It can also be someone who is so terrible, somebody who is a Satan incarnate. Yes, looking handsome, looking well dressed, and he's coming to offer you hand in marriage. So it becomes a very big challenge to be able to unravel the person behind the marks whom you have not known. For me, it's easier if somebody you have known over the years, 5 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, shows up and says he wants to marry you. There may be little to learn about him before considering that proposal. But for a stranger, it becomes a very big challenge. And why is it a challenge? Okay, look, it's important to know that marriage proposal is an offer to close a deal. It's just like a business deal. Somebody is offering you, will you buy my product at so and so price? You have the right to say, yes, I will, or I will not. So marriage proposal is an offer to close a deal. And of course, in most cases, in our contemporary society, in this part of the world, it comes from the guy's often. So it's meant for the lady to now consider this deal to say, I will or I will not. Now, the negotiation starts when this strange person begins to approach you for intimacy. He begins to get close to you. He wants to know you. He wants to understand you. Ladies are quite smart, I bet you. In most cases, you get to discover as a lady that this guy is coming for something, even when he has not pronounced it. So when that guy begins to come is when you quickly jump into your negotiation table. So what is the major challenge here? And that is why it's an issue of discussion for us. What's the major challenge? The major challenge is that this young man has grown up over the years with people around him, male and female, old and young. He grew up somewhere with people. Now, the greater part of his life before thinking about marriage, say between 18 and whenever he showed up, had been spent with some people somewhere. He had friends in secondary school. If he went to secondary school, he had friends as a teenager. He has friends as somebody coming up. So he had related with people over the years. And not you. You are not in that circle. But suddenly he shows up. And he's showing up for a business deal, a marriage deal. The question now comes, and that's my concern. How come that he did not find a suitable lady to consider for marriage among his acquaintances, among his many friends while he was growing up? Maybe he even went to secondary school, went to university, lives in a neighborhood, associate with a faith-based organization somewhere, whether it's a church or a mosque, associate with people around. How come he didn't find anybody among his acquaintances and he decided to show up and offer you a hand in marriage? Why is he seeking for the hand of someone who has never known his youthful lifestyle? That's a huge challenge for me. That's my concern here. And it should be a concern to anybody who wants to get it right. Okay? Now, as for the lady, there's also a big challenge. The challenge is that this lady, in most cases, may have little or no time to know this stranger well enough to ascertain if his offer of marriage is a deal to be given a positive consideration or not. Sometimes they come like fire brigade. Look. I'm happy to see you. I want to get married this year. My people are stopping me. In fact, that is the only agenda on my table. How come he's becoming the only agenda on his table, seeing you? Whereas he had related with so many other ladies out there. That's my concern. All right? Now, again, in most cases, this young man could have got more information about this lady in question. He could have got information about you as a lady. And so he's able to conform to your expectations, which may not be his true color. I have a friend. Let me share this here. I have a friend, a young lady. I have mentored this lady over the years. It's very close to my family. He comes to my house, he spends time with me. Now, I saw a young man around him, and I called her attention, I called her attention. I said, young lady, this guy is going to propose to you. She said, no, nothing is happening. It's just a casual friend. I said, he is not just a casual friend. He is investing too much time around you. And I'm not so comfortable with the way he's playing his game. He's doing what in economics we call crowding out effect. Crowding out effect. He comes to go around you all the time in such a manner that any noble man, any ideal guy, any decent guy around you will want to stay off because he's trying to respect the relationship you guys are maintaining. And that is what I call crowding out effect. Many young ladies have suffered it. A guy will come around you and be doing that crowding out effect. Finally, he may not propose to you. But I told her this guy is going to propose. But he looks smarter than you can imagine. Please take it easy with this guy. She told me, no, nothing's happening. I said, okay, that's fine. Now, during my wedding, This guy had to travel all the way from Lagos to Enugu State to attend my wedding because the lady was involved in that wedding. And he knew he needed my support if that relationship will fly. I quickly told the lady, don't introduce her to your parents because her parents were around. Let me introduce him. Don't introduce him to your parents because her parents were around. Let me introduce him rather as my own friend since I've known him. So that was what we did. And so this relationship continued until something happened. And that was what helped us to identify the young guy. This young man was actually, the lady introduced him to me as a captain in Nigerian Army. Of course, in my wedding, he was respected as a captain in Nigerian Army. Now, there's this friend of ours who had a challenge. He had a deal somewhere, and he called this captain to go with him. And the captain went and showed up and, do this military gra. And they paid the guy about ₦1 million. The balance, they told him he's going to come back and collect it. Now he left. This military guy, this captain in question, this so to say captain, went back and was able to collect the balance. And he disappeared with it. They started looking for him everywhere until they went to arrest his uncle. And his uncle said, is it that guy? Meanwhile, he had taken this lady to his office in the barracks. And as they were walking into the barracks, soldiers were greeting him, saluting him, captain. They got to an office, a very beautiful office, looking well organized, and then he took care of her. Now, so when they started looking for this guy, he was called on phone, and he said yes, he collected the balance, that they called him to attend a course in Jos, and then as soon as he's disposed, he's going to transfer the money. This my friend waited for that money. It wasn't forthcoming. So he went for the uncle of this guy because the lady said he knows where the uncle lives. So when they got there, the uncle gave them a shocking news. He said, look, is it that guy? That guy is a crook. That guy keeps going around pretending to be a military guy. He answers captain. That's his guy name. He's a garage boy. He's a barracks boy. He grew up in the barracks. So soldiers come and go, and they know him in the barracks, and they nicknamed him captain. And that is the title he carries everywhere, that he has never been in the Nigerian army. So he was actually pretending. He told them, look, the truth is that if you want to catch him, I tell you where to go and get him. Go to his girlfriend's house. You will see him there. His girlfriend happened to be a police officer who was a police lady who was actually sacked from police. And another important information he gave them, so this guy is married. His wife and children, as of that time, were living at Ajegunle. But he parades himself like somebody who was not married. And he came for this very decent young lady who was top graduate student in her set. And that was very revealing for my young lady. She was shocked to her marrow that people can pretend like this and organize lies around them. And that is the challenge. The challenge is that in most cases, these strangers will show up. They know your expectation. This lady doesn't like people who smoke. So the guy wouldn't smoke around her. But a friend of mine who attended my wedding, because I lodged them somewhere, told me that this guy, he saw him smoking and he saw him taking alcohol. But he comes to this lady and pretends that he doesn't take alcohol, he doesn't smoke. He will clean up himself after doing such things. So this guy, because he has information about your values, about your expectation, about your background, he pretends to be the person you desire. And that is quite challenging. Okay, so I sincerely don't envy ladies in this type of situation, especially when you seem to have fallen in love with that guy at first sight. You see him, you love him so much, but he's a stranger. You love him, you feel that this is what you've been waiting for since. At such moments, it becomes quite challenging. Such disposition of being in love at first first sight may becloud you in a way that you may no longer be careful to do your basic background checks and, of course, the necessary negotiation before saying I do. Before you say I do, young ladies, learn to negotiate. I will teach you in this series what it means to negotiate and how to negotiate. Otherwise, you jump into a marriage and you begin to regret it all your life. I have friends who are like living in hell on earth because they married one guy. Please, this is very, very important. Now, so what should be the response of a lady who wants to get it right under such circumstance? Whether she is in love with the person at first sight or she's not in love, but she desires to get it right. What will be her response in this kind of situation when a stranger has come and showed up for marriage? This is exactly what this series are designed to provide. This series is designed to provide guidance in such situation, hoping it will help you or someone you know. So please watch out for part 2 of this series. By the way, this is my face and the face of my beautiful wife. Thank you very much for joining us in this series. See you in the next series. God bless you. Cheers.